Hi guys, this is Paulina again and welcome back to my channel. On this video, I will be focusing on the day before and the days in the hospital during my vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery. I had my surgery on August 1st, 2019, so I am 5 months post-op, 105 pounds down as of today. So if you're interested on this topic, then keep on watching. All right, you guys, so I'm first gonna start off with what to bring to the hospital. This is a video that I would look up before surgery because I wanted to know what to bring. Yeah, the doctor gives you a list of things, but I feel that someone that goes through it really knows obviously what to bring. So a couple of things that I brought, again, I'm gonna be keeping some notes on my phone. Well, I have some notes on my phone, so that's why I'll keep looking down. But what I brought to the hospital were comfy pajamas. So make sure that they're nice and loose because you are gonna have incisions. I believe it's 5 incisions. Yeah. And you don't want the pajamas to be affecting it. So I had really loose pants, really loose shirt, and I was super comfortable. Honestly, the first 2 days, they give you like a robe, a hospital robe, and I did not take that robe off because I was not having it. But after I was able to change, I put on my pajamas and it was perfect. Bring slippers because you will be walking a lot, but you don't want to put on tennis shoes, obviously. You just want some comfy slippers that you're going to be walking around in. A sports bra, something comfy. Bathroom essentials. Of course, they have stuff there at the hospital, but they're not the best. And I was actually there for 5 days, so I had to keep asking for things throughout my entire stay. Something that I brought, and if you personally know me, you know I love to color, so I brought a coloring book. I actually made my husband go to the store and buy me a coloring book because I didn't take one. A coloring book, an iPad, and a book. Yeah, they have TV there, but they don't have many channels. Chapstick, because your lips will be super chapped the time that you are there. And what else? Glasses. So I wear contacts. You cannot wear contacts during the surgery, obviously. And honestly, that's the last thing you want to focus on is putting on contacts. So I had my glasses on the entire time that I was there. The biggest thing is a support system. My family is super supportive. My husband is super supportive. And honestly, that's what got me through on all those days. And a journal. I didn't take a journal. I wish I would have now because I can remember how I felt, but probably not in detail. So I think a journal from day one and writing in that journal every single day would be something super awesome to look back on. I didn't even record anything in the hospital. I have like Snapchat or like random little stories from my Instagram story, but that's about it. And obviously it was what I chose to record. So I'm kind of bummed about that because I do see a lot of videos where people have footage of them walking around in pain, them waking up from surgery, all that good stuff, really, that I wish I had, but I don't. So those are just a couple of things that I recommend you bring to the hospital during your stay during the hospital. All right. So pre-op. So my surgery was on August 1st, 2019. My pre-op appointment was the day before. I don't know. I'm sure doctors do it differently. It could be like 2 days before. Mine was a day before. So July 31st. They weighed me. So that was one of the things that they did. The first thing that they did was weigh me. And I was 291. Highest weight was 304. So 291. I dropped 13 pounds in my 1 week of liquid diet. So I dropped 13 pounds. So I was 291, which they were excited about because if I was heavier than 304, they could have canceled my surgery. They measured me for my post bariatric surgery binder. So it's kind of like a, how do you say it in English? A faja in Spanish, a wrap thing around your stomach. And that's basically to support your back and your stomach and to help with the stitches. I believe that's what it's for. Yeah. And then they give you some details for that night of and the following day. So I couldn't eat or drink past midnight because my surgery was the following day at 9. And then also another thing that they gave me were some like wipes that I had to like clean my whole body with. So I took a shower at night, cleaned myself with these wipies the night before and the morning of. And they even made me actually do it when I went to when I went the next morning also. So I did it 3 different times. My sister is FaceTiming me. I'm filming.
Awesome.
I'll call you back. Bye. Surgery day. So actual surgery day, August 1st, 2019, the big day, the start of my change. The start of my new life, okay? August 1st, 2019. So check-in was at 8 a.m. I live about an hour from San Diego, so I left super early. My husband loves to be on time for everything, so I left super early. I don't remember, probably like 5 or something dramatic. We got there, checked in at 8 a.m. As I was walking up to the hospital, there was 4 people waiting for me. It was my grandma, my aunt, 2 of my aunts, and my dad. They were waiting for me because they live in San Diego. So they were literally waiting outside the hospital for me. So we get there at 8 o'clock, and then we waited about an hour, checked in, all that good stuff. And then they took me back to the room at like 9 in the morning. When I went back at 9, I was only allowed 1 person at a time to go back there and hang out with me. And if you personally know me, you know how emotional I am. So my family kept rotating. Like every 5 minutes, someone would come in. Like my husband, my grandma, my aunt, my dad. Like it was pretty funny because the nurses were making fun of me that everyone kept coming in before my surgery. Okay. And then we waited for my doctor. He just came in, said good morning, checked up on me, just to see how my mood was and just to pump me up and tell me that I was making the right decision. And I also was waiting for the anesthesia. Oh, I can never say that word. The person that puts you to sleep. Okay. I don't know how to say that word, but you know what I mean. He explained the process. And then I waited about 30 more minutes and said my goodbyes to my family again. And then they started pushing me back to the room. So that's when I got super nervous because I'm like, this is about to happen. There's no going back now. I get into the room and there's a bunch of people in there. Honest, like everyone, doctors, nurses, just a bunch of people in a huge room, super bright. And I just see like a table in the middle. And I was like, wow, this is about to get real. So then they put me on the table. They gave me my medicine to put me to sleep. And I started crying. So I started crying. And one of the nurses that was doing whatever kind of stopped what she was doing. And someone took over. And she just stood there and held my hand until I was out. Which I thought was super, super sweet. The nurses that I had that day were awesome. They calmed me down, basically. So anyways, about my surgery was only like an hour and a half. I've heard that they could be like 2 hours, even 3 hours. My husband got a phone call an hour and a half from my doctor to tell him that I was out of surgery. I wasn't awake yet, but I was done with my surgery. Everything went good. And I was out of surgery. I didn't wake up until 3 hours later. This has happened to me before. I tore my ACL like 5 years ago, and it did take me a while to get up from surgery. So that happened again. It took 3 hours. When I actually woke up, I remember, kind of half woken up. I remember being in the elevator and they were pushing me up and I was asking where I was going and they were taking me to my room. So as I was going to the room, I got in there and I was super emotional because it hurt. I had a lot of gas. I didn't know what I felt. I was asking where everyone was at. And I was in the room. And then all my loud aunts and my husband and my grandma and my mom, everyone came in. And honestly, keep in mind, I didn't have my contacts in and I didn't have my glasses on. So I knew who everyone was, obviously, because I could tell. But it was like super, like a lot because I didn't feel good. So I was just crying. So for my family that was there, they saw what happened. I was just crying. I was not feeling it. I was super nauseous. I was throwing up. I was throwing up for honestly that whole day. So for the rest of the day, I was just out of it. I was, like I said, I was not good. I was nauseous. I was throwing up. I couldn't keep any liquid down. They kept trying to give me water, and it just wasn't happening. So they kept giving me medicine for my nausea, and pain med also, because I was in pain. So that was that day. Day 2, the doctor came in. He would come in at 6 in the morning every single day, which I understand, because I think he has his surgeries at 8 every morning. So he would come in at 6. So day 2, he came in at 6 to check on me. I was feeling better, but I had a horrible gas pain. And I remember watching YouTube and asking people beforehand, like, what do you do for the pain? And they say walk, walk, and walk. So I always thought, like, okay, yeah, how is that really gonna help? But really, that's the only thing that helped. They gave me pain med and stuff, but I still had it. I don't even know how to explain it. It was just a weird pain, and the only thing that made it better was walking. So on day 2, I was able to walk, but not a lot. I was able to walk maybe, it was like around the hospital, like on that same floor. I was able to walk maybe 1 or 2 laps, and I was in pain. But my husband made me do it because he knew that was gonna help. On that day, I only ate ice chips. I couldn't even drink water yet. I had ice chips, and they kept bringing them to me, and I would just kind of put it in my mouth, chew on it a little bit, and that was it. That was day 2. Day 3, the doctor came in again at 6 a.m. Told me that I couldn't leave until I met the goal. So I've met people, or I've talked to people that leave on day 2, day 3. That wasn't the case for me. So on that day 3, he told me that I had to walk a certain amount of laps. I don't remember. I think he said like 4 or 5 laps. And I had to drink at least 16 ounces of water, which water included water, Crystal Light, even sugar-free popsicles, which I lived off of during those 4 days or 5 days, and broth. I could not do broth. Just the smell of it alone, no, it didn't work for me. So day 3, I was only able to drink 8 ounces. That's it. I couldn't do more. My family kept telling me to do more, and I was like, I can't. Like, I can't. You literally would drink an ounce, and you felt like you ate an entire pizza. And I've done that before. Okay. And another super annoying thing is they wouldn't let me shower. So obviously I want to shower every single day, and I couldn't do it because of the difficulty that they had with putting an IV into my hand and my arm. So they didn't want to. At one point, I think I had like 4 different nurses come in, and they couldn't do it. They got to a point where they had to actually bring an ultrasound machine to check my vein, and had the ultrasound on it as they were poking me to be able to do it. And they said that was because I was dehydrated. That's basically the reason. I've never had a problem with them trying to find my vein. Anytime I go to the doctor, they always tell me that I have good veins, and they're able to do it on the first one. So yeah. So day 4, doctor came in at 6 a.m. again and told me that I couldn't leave until I met my goal. So again, he told me 16 ounces. 16 ounces by the end of the day. I'll check in on you. He would call the nurses, I believe, and the nurses would tell her, or would tell him like, nope, she didn't do it, or yeah, she did. Well, I was very close. I didn't meet it. I think I did like, I don't know, 13, 14, something like that. And I walked 5 laps that day. Again, the walking helped with my gas. I still had gas on day 4. So I was walking. I was I was in a way better mood. I was in better spirits and everything. By that time, I had like every family member come visit me. So I'm very close to my family. So that just made me feel way better in general. And that was day 4. I didn't leave that day. Day 5, the doctor came in again at 6 a.m. and told me that the nurses did let him know that I almost met my goal, but that I did walk a lot. So he was happy about that. But one more thing that I had to do before I left that day was actually drink a little bit of protein shake. A little bit of protein shake was 2 ounces. Literally like a tiny plastic cup. And I have some pictures, so I'll probably add them onto this video. But yeah, a couple of tiny little cups that they would give us, and that's how they would measure. They were 2 ounces, I believe, and we would have to put it to the side. A popsicle, I think if I finished it, it counted as 3 ounces, 4 ounces, 2 ounces, I'm not sure. But I ate a lot of popsicles because it wasn't like a straight drink. Even though we have to sip it, it was just so much harder for me to actually drink something versus a popsicle was melting just like the ice chips. But they wanted me to stay away from the ice chips because I kept going to that and he wasn't having it. So I was able to do the protein shake on day 5 and I got released. I didn't get to leave till that afternoon. I was like super annoyed. My mom was with me and I was just ready to leave. From the second my doctor told me at 6 a.m. that I was okay to leave, I wanted to leave because I wanted to come home to my puppies. But that didn't happen. So then going home, they gave me a packet. I think I have, oh yeah, I have it right here. They gave me a packet of like what my diet was basically for the next week, because in that following week I was going to meet with my doctor again to check up and to let me know and see how I was doing and let me know what the plan was after that. So basically what he told me was I had to do 1 ounce of a protein shake every single hour, the hours that I was up, obviously. So let's just say 8 to 10 hours. So 1 ounce of protein shake every single hour. And then the rest of that hour, I was having to drink at least 2 ounces of liquid. It sounds crazy now because I'm able to eat a lot more without that restriction. But I remember doing that was so difficult. It was so difficult. I couldn't do it. And I mean, the first couple days I couldn't do it, and then eventually I was able to, and I knew that I had to because that's all that was going into my body was the 1 ounce of protein shake and liquid. So, and it was super hard, like I said. So if you've been to Sonic, they have the tiny little Sonic ice balls that I made my husband go to Sonic, buy me a huge bag. I had that in my fridge, and I would do, I would chew on that. So like I said earlier, my doctor wanted me to stay away from ice chips. I didn't do it every hour because I wanted to focus on water and stuff, but that's what helped me be able to reach my goals. So I did do the ice. I did sugar-free popsicles. I did Crystal Light. I did sugar-free Gatorade, which was a lifesaver. And then I did do water, but honestly, I wanted some flavor. I did not do broth. That just did not work for me at all. So basically that was my diet going home. And then like I mentioned, I had to wait, it was about a week. I think it was exactly a week to see my doctor again. And then he told me about the plan moving forward. So that's basically it. I know it was a lot, but that was my experience with my surgery and the days that I was in the hospital. I was super, super thankful for my family during that time, for my husband during that time, for my nurses during that time. They had so much patience with me. Honestly, I even said sorry to my nurse on day 1 because she was super awesome, like super awesome. So, my dogs are barking because my husband's home. But basically, yeah, that's kind of my story with my process of the surgery at the hospital. In my next video, I'm going to actually talk about month 1 to month 3 and my experience during that time. I wish I would have recorded monthly. That was my goal, but I didn't. So now I kind of have to talk about, like I said, I'm on month 5. So I'm going to do my next video on month 1 through 3. So thank you so much for watching. Please share this video with anyone that you think might be interested in hearing this. I know it was super helpful for me when I was going through the process to just hear other people talk about it. And thank you so much. Bye.